Hi, I'm Greg Dell with Attorneys Dell and Schaefer, and I want to talk to you today about back pain and securing long-term disability benefits. Back pain, back disorders is probably one of the top 3 most common causes of a long-term disability insurance claim. And because of that, it's also one of the most highly scrutinized type of claims from the long-term disability insurance carriers. Now, let's be practical about it. Everybody at some point in their life has experienced some kind of back pain. And more often than not, thankfully, whether you have a flare that lasts for a couple hours, 2 or 3 days, or 3 weeks, back pain is historically supposed to go away. Unfortunately, in many cases, for people who are dealing with chronic back pain, it affects their ability to work. It affects all activities of daily living. But most importantly, it affects you if you have a sedentary job, which requires you to sit for 6 to 8 hours a day, or if you have a light or medium duty job that requires you to be in a frequent sit, stand, or stand for long periods of time. Back pain doesn't discriminate. It can hurt you when you're sitting, it can hurt you when you're standing, it can hurt you when you're laying down. No matter what, it's different for everybody. And what makes it especially challenging when filing a disability claim is that there's no meter to measure pain. There's no machine that's going to say, yes, this person's telling the truth, they're in pain, or let me do this blood work, it's going to show that your back's in pain. And because of that, it becomes what's known as a subjective complaint, meaning there's no test or study or anything that's going to objectify your particular pain. Doesn't mean you don't have it. But because of that, these disability carriers say often that your subjective pain complaints don't match your objective evidence. So what does that mean? That means that you have to have, in order to put yourself in the best position to get paid for any type of back disorder, the most objective evidence that you can obtain. So how do you get this objective disability evidence to support your back pain claim? The way you do it is through strong medical treatment and diagnostic studies with your treating providers. Most common, if you have a back pain, you should be seeing an orthopedic doctor or a neurosurgeon or an internal medicine doctor. But the best type of doctor is an orthopedic doctor that has a board certification in spinal surgery. The reason for that is that that's a doctor who constantly treats people for back pain. Now, you also can obviously have an internal medicine doctor, but if you want to put yourself in the best position, see an orthopedic doctor or a neurosurgeon. The challenge, though, if you were to just go the route of seeing particularly a neurosurgeon, is that many of these doctors only want to see you if you're going to have surgery. And you don't have to have surgery in order to get approved for a back disorder type claim. So that may just be a one and done visit and they don't want you to come back. So that's why more often than not I tend to have people go see an orthopedic doctor first to evaluate what's going on. Now, the best practices for how to prove you have the back disorder is, number 1, is to have a lumbar MRI or a CAT scan. Those are going to be the best objective evidence. If you come back with what are called positive findings on your lumbar MRI or lumbar CT scan, then you have objective evidence to say, look, here's why I'm in pain. Now, you don't treat a chart, you always treat a patient. There are a high percentage, and I would say the doctors will tell you more than 75% of the people that go see an orthopedic doctor for back pain, the MRI does not, or the CT scan does not necessarily clarify why the person's having the pain. There are people who go to the doctor, have an MRI, and have the tiniest herniation or the tiniest neuroforaminal narrowing or some kind of nerve root impingement, and the disability company will say, well, that looks very small, you shouldn't have impairment. And then there's people who have MRIs that have gigantic herniations or very restrictive spinal canals, which is called severe neuroforaminal narrowing, and those people have no pain or disorders at all, but they're at risk of spinal paralysis that they didn't even know about because this herniated disc can impinge on their spinal cord and they can become paralyzed instantly. So you can't just go by the objective evidence, but when it comes time to prove a disability claim, the disability carriers are trained to focus on the objective evidence. So MRI, CT scan, X-ray is good as well, but you can't see soft tissues with the X-ray. You only see bone, and rarely are you going to see the whole picture of what's going on unless you have a fracture. Certainly you can see degenerative change, also osteophytic formations, which is basically bone degeneration and growth on the bone on an x-ray, but nothing beats an MRI or CT scan. The next thing your doctor can recommend for you is an EMG or nerve conduction study test, which is going to show if you're having any confirmation of nerve root impairment. And the way you would know you may have that is if you're having numbness or tingling anywhere in your legs, anywhere in your feet, anywhere in your buttocks, anything that radiates down to your lower extremities, you want to have a lower extremity EMG or nerve conduction study test. And that's a gold standard for confirming any kind of radiating pain or numbness. Now, very often those tests come back negative, and that doesn't mean at all that you don't have that radiating pain or numbness, but it's good to have that type of test to get yourself the best evidence possible. The other thing that's very helpful as well is to explore every type of remedy short of surgery that's available to you if you have a back pain or back disorder. One of the best people to see for that is to see an anesthesiologist that specializes in pain management, or a physical medicine and rehabilitation doctor, also known as a physiatrist. And those particular doctors will provide you with possible injections into your back or epidural injections that are designed to help you manage your pain. They often do these in the office. They'll do them under fluoroscopy, where they'll actually go in with make a very tiny incision, go in with a scope and have the opportunity to see the exact nerve roots that they believe are impaired, then inject you with a numbing agent that's supposed to alleviate pain. And you can find out right away if they're targeting those particular areas. These types of injections are usually done in sets of 2 or 3 over a period of 6 weeks or so. And it shows to the disability company to say, look, I've gone for these injections. It was so bad. It's a big deal to go in for injections. It was so bad that I went in for these injections to try to alleviate my pain. And even after doing them, I got relief for a day or 2, and then it went away. So that's a big thing to try to do to alleviate your pain. The next thing, obviously, is pain medicine. A lot of people don't like to take any type of pain medicine, but there are other things, like if you had a neurologist or something, like a Neurontin type thing, that basically are not addictive type pain medications, but they send signals to your brain to try to change the path of the pain that your body is getting. And those are things that you should also try as well, because the disability company is going to say, well, what types of medication did you take? And you shouldn't have to go on any of these addictive painkillers, but there's many types of medications that you can discuss with your doctor. And of course, the other things that are not invasive to you are physical therapy. They're always going to want to see, did you explore any of that? Did you try any type of massage? Did you try any kind of daily home stretching? Have you tried any kind of acupuncture? Have you tried any kind of traction at home? All types of everything. I mean, I've mentioned a big chunk of the things that you can do to help alleviate the back pain, but you have to be able to say that you tried every single one of these things. And once you can do that, then you can say, look at all of the objective evidence. It's not just my complaints. Look at all the actions I took. The other thing is your doctors have to document everything in the medical records. So when you go to them, you have to tell them, hey, this is what's going on with me. This is when I'm experiencing back pain. And the doctors need to put that in your records, because if it's not in your records, then it doesn't exist. And that's the biggest downfall that we see, is that claimants contact us after they've been denied, and we go back and look at the records, and we hear what we're being told from our clients, and then we look at the records and we say, look, your doctor didn't document all of these things. So how do you get around that, especially if you're someone watching these videos and trying to plan to protect your benefits? What you need to do is keep a journal. Keep a daily pain journal of the symptoms that you're having. And then every time you go to the doctor, bring the journal with you and show it to your doctor and say, these are the symptoms I was having. Ask your doctor to take a photo of it or copy it and put it into your record. So when you have this journal in there, then you have a continuous log of what was going on for you with medical treatment. The last thing I would say in terms of having a strong back pain claim is to really build your medical team. I talked about the different types of doctors. The claim is only as good as how it looks on paper. I often say you're only as good as the amount as to how messed up you look on paper. And that's not a sophisticated lawyer thing that we were taught in law school, but it's all about when the disability company gets your claim, they only look at how you look on paper. So the more medical documentation you have, the better. Have an internal medicine doctor, have an orthopedic, see a neurologist, see a physiatrist, consider seeing an anesthesiologist. I just talked about 5 different types of doctors. Build a medical team so that when the disability carrier tries to have one doctor review your file, you're going to have 5 doctors to go back to rebut. And you have to look at this as a battle. You have to be prepared for battle to say, look, I had 5 doctors, I did everything, plus massage therapy, plus acupuncture, plus medicine. What more could you possibly ask for me to do? And if you do all of those things, you're putting yourself in the best position to not only get yourself approved for a back pain disorder, but keep yourself approved. So what I'd like for you to do, if you need any help whatsoever with your claim for long-term disability benefits, no matter what stage you're at, feel free to contact me or any of the lawyers on my team. We always offer a free initial consultation. We'll review your disability policy. We'll review whatever documents you have with regard to the current status of your claim, and we'll let you know immediately whether or not we can help you. Now, I assure you, when you call our office, you're going to get a lawyer on the phone right away. That's something unique that we do compared to all of these other law firms that are out there, and we're going to be extremely responsive to address your needs right away because we know it's of utmost priority to you. Also encourage you to search our YouTube channel or search our website for information about your company, your medical condition, which is obviously a back pain or disorder, and also by occupation. What we try to do is put you in the most educated position possible, because the better educated you are, the better position you're going to be in to protect your disability benefits and keep them approved for as long as you need them. So if you like these videos, we would really appreciate if you would subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking the button below. We regularly produce these videos on a weekly basis, and if you have any topics you'd like us to discuss, feel free to email us or put it in the comments below, and we'll be happy to discuss that video next time. So thank you for considering our law firm, and we look forward to the opportunity to help you in the future.